Should you be invested with a company that has lawsuits against it? That's the question this morning. Here to break it down for us is President and CEO of Wilsey Asset Management, Brent Wilsey. Brent, good morning as always.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Okay, so this is an interesting topic because I imagine, well, it's going to affect a lot of people, these lawsuits.
It really is. And actually, a new Gallup poll shows recently that 61% of Americans are invested in equities or in stocks. And that's up the highest in over 15 years. So it's very important. And the problem that we're running into is on the other side, we're becoming a very litigious society. Annually in the U.S., we have 40 million lawsuits filed every year. This has become a crazy thing, and what it's doing is causing companies to be going to bankruptcy, big bankruptcies, GM, Chrysler, Texaco, Washington Mutual, and so it's very difficult for people. You see these lawsuits come on, you see strikes come on. Is this a problem? So you got to really look at the company that you're investing into, the stock. When they get a lawsuit, do you stay? Do you go? Very hard to analyze. So let me give you a couple examples of ones, and this is one we think one's coming up on. It was in the Wall Street Journal, front page, 2-page spread about AT&T with all these lead cables that they have. Now, they did major research on this, that there's these cables from the telephone pole lines over 258 children bus stops where they're low hanging and lead is coming out. They talk about in Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe, they said there's parts of that lake that are just filled with lead. When people go swimming, there's people saying, well, gee, you know, I can't have children now. I have this problem now because of the lead in the lake. So they said it's about $30 billion to fix that problem. That's the cost. The thing we have in our society is that these attorneys, and maybe we have too many attorneys, I don't know, but they're going to say, well, wait a minute, it's $30 billion to fix it, but you caused this problem. So they could have more than $30 billion in lawsuits come up that could put AT&T into bankruptcy. And they're not the only one. It's a problem that we have, and we do want companies to pay for problems, but we've had too many lawsuits that are just people trying to get rich off of big corporations. Say, who cares, doesn't affect anybody. It really does.
When you every Monday, if I'm correct, every Monday you go to your office and you basically break down everything, portfolio stocks, all this. Is this one of the first things that you look at if you're determining whether or not to invest in a company?
It's not one of the first things we look at. We know it's there. We actually did on AT&T, and we saw this come out. We said, we need to get out of this because this could be a major problem. It's down about 10% from when we sold it. Lawsuits, we've had other companies that we actually bought more because we think, yes, it's going to come through the lawsuit. I mean, there's other ones too. I mean, 3M, they settled for $10 billion for what they call forever chemicals. There's another lawsuit against them on the earplugs. We don't know what that liability is. The stock has fallen from $240 down to like $100 a share. I mean, it's really hurting shareholders. Now, are they liable? It's very hard as an investor. You got to say, will they win this lawsuit? One that we talked about years ago, people were so excited about, a company called Lumber Liquidators. Had a high of 80. It's one of these high flyer stocks. They said, no, too expensive. Well, today, because of lawsuits on chemicals they were using, that stock now trades at $3 a share. So you've got to be very careful when you're investing to look at lawsuits, problems that could really drag that company into bankruptcy or destroy the stock price because of all the money spent on attorneys, fines, penalties, you know, settling those suits and so forth.
Because that's going to affect the investor.
It really is, and that's why, again, as I said, 61% of people have stocks in their portfolio. They need to know what's going on with that because you can't just buy them and say, "Oh, just let it sit there forever." No, that you could have a problem where you wake up like, "Oh my gosh, I bought GM back in 2008. It went bankrupt." You lose all your money when that happens.
All right, good to be aware of.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, we want to talk about the UAW strike as well because that's another problem that is for corporations. Now, I kind of looked at this to see, well, what's going on? They said the average UAW worker makes between $60 and $70 an hour. I see estimates as high as $97 an hour. Now, the unions come out against Stellantis, which owns Chrysler, Jeep, Fiat, General Motors, and Ford, saying we now want, wouldn't you love this, over the next 4 years to have our pay increase by nearly 50%.
Wow.
And by the way, we'd also like a 32-hour work week. We also want to have more time off. I mean, they're not looking at the companies saying, can they afford this? And yes, we have a good economy now, but who knows? I think in 2025, we'll have problems. And these are things that unions don't see, that they could drive these big companies into bankruptcy, and then nobody wins. And I've said before, they say, oh, well, the CEO, Mary Barr, she's made, $15 million. it's all based on stock. She doesn't get paid a $15 million check. She gets stock. Now, if that stock goes down in value, guess what? That $15 million is not there.
Right.
I would love to see the union say, let's be part of this together. Let's have our union people get stock as well, so everybody participates and everybody wins when the company does well. But unfortunately, unions, it's been going on for 100 years. I don't see that happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, but that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Everybody wins, and everybody, because right now management and the union, they just fight, and nobody wins. And if they do win this and the strike, I believe it's September 14th, it could be problems. We got the actors and the writers on strike now.
Yep.
The unions become very powerful, and there is a place for them, but they got to be careful not to put these companies in a bankruptcy because everybody loses, and that's a problem that I don't think they think about.
All right, Brent Wilsey, Wilsey Asset Management, smartinvesting2000.com, right?
That's where we go.
That's it. All right.